Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yep. Okay, good.
Yep.
All right, so I'm going to start while Phil restarts his computer. So I'm not prepared because I wasn't expecting to do this. So I'm just going to start with smart plans. So the very first thing, I'm just going to explain what smart plans are. So they're essentially like automated systems. So you can create them as like automated touches to your clients. So emails, phone calls, texts, things like that. We are going to do a session on the texting specifically. I think it's next Monday. It's a lot of setup to get the Twilio account, which is the texting service. So we're not going to touch too much on texting right now because we're going to go deep dive into texting next week. But so a very key part of it is emailing. So one thing you do have to make sure is in your settings of command, you have to scroll down to command email. Should be the bottom one. Just click manage next to it and make sure that it's your correct email address here. So essentially, when you send an email through a smart plan, if they press reply, it's going to come to whatever email address that you have right here. So you need to make sure that's right so that you get their replies. So once you make sure of that, smart plan button is this one here. So it's like a piece of paper with a gear wheel. Again, if you push the KW at the top, it expands the menu so you can see what those icons mean. So smart plans. So there are going to be other types of smart plans. So you can see right here, it's called people plans. So that's basically for those touches that I was speaking of. The rest are grayed out right now. So they were released, but then they were grayed out again. They must have had a lot of problems with them. So in the future, once these are released again, you can have opportunities more so for workflows for yourself. So an opportunity plan would be if you put someone in the nurture stage, it's a workflow for yourself. So once you enter them into your opportunities, maybe you're going to send them an email to touch base. Then maybe you're going to have a 7-day delay, and then you're going to call them, touch base, see if there's anything you can help with, things like that. And then like a listing plan would be the same thing. So when you take a listing, you can create a workflow for yourself. So on this day, create a Facebook ad. After 7-day delay, I don't know, call them to touch base, whatever it might be. You build them yourself, you make them what they want. So right now we can only do the people plans. So there's a whole bunch of different types. If you click on the library up here, it does have pre-made smart plans for you. I don't love them because you can't edit them. So the only ones that I would use is the neighborhoods. So if you create neighborhoods for your clients or your contacts, you can put them on either a bi-weekly neighborhood touch or a monthly neighborhood touch. So essentially, every either 2 weeks or month, whichever you choose, it's going to send them an email with the link to their neighborhood page. If you don't know what neighborhoods are, we've covered them a lot. I'm not going to go into them too much, but you can essentially choose neighborhoods that they're interested in, and it creates a web page for them, showing them all the listings and details about those neighborhoods. If you send them the link once, they're probably going to look at it that one time and then not again. So that's why you would put them on this bi-weekly or monthly touch so that it's coming into their inbox all the time and they're constantly clicking on it and looking at it. Other than that, until these are editable, I wouldn't use any of them. So you can view steps. So here's an 8x8 new contact engagement. You can view steps. So first it's going to do a text, then 7-day delay, then let's grab coffee email, then 7-day delay, then it's going to prompt you to call them, but you can't edit them. So if that's not what you want to do, there's nothing you can do about it. So I suggest looking through these, stealing ideas from them, and then creating your own from scratch. So yes, Brenda, you can make your own plans and add them. So if you go to my smart plans here, these are smart plans that I've created. And then so you can see how many touches are included in them and how many days it lasts. So here's my Glenn McQueenie smart plans. You guys all got this text. So you can, if you hover over it, it tells you what the text is. So you guys all should have gotten this text from me a couple weeks ago. So I just created a one-step smart plan, added all of you to it, and so you all got this text. So you'll see here under contacts, it says that I don't have any on it. Because you all received the text, it automatically takes you off of it once the smart plan is done. And because it only had one touch, it was instantly over once you got that text. So to create your own, you press the create button. You have to give it a name, and it has to be a different name than others that you've created. So I can't have another smart plan called Glenn McQueenie again. No one's going to see these names, it's just for you. So let me just do training, May 11th. And so now it's like the simplest thing you can do. All you have to do is build it. So here's your options on the right as to what the smart plan can consist of. So it can be a task. So this obviously isn't going to be anything automated. It's just going to create a task in your tasks and tell you what to do. So whatever you type in there, that your task is. Same with make a call is essentially just making a task that's reminding you to call them. It's not going to automate. It's not going to automatically call them on your behalf. That would be weird. Send an email is going to be an extremely common one. Send a text. Again, I'll be going through that next week. It's pretty complicated to get it set up. So we're doing a training specifically on getting your texting set up. But it's super easy. Once it's set up, it's super easy to implement. The delay. So you don't want to email them every day. So if you're creating a smart plan that has 7 emails, you obviously want to put delays in between those emails so they don't get a text or an email constantly. Add to smart plan. So if you are creating smart plans that kind of go in sequence up with each other, so you could say at the end of a smart plan, okay, now add to smart plan X, which is a different one that you have created, and then restart. So if you wanted, once it gets to the bottom, if you wanted it to go through again, you can just choose restart. So eventually they're going to make different triggers. So a trigger would be what implements the smart plan to start. Right now, you can't choose anything other than manual. So essentially you have to add them to the smart plan. But hopefully in the future, if you're running a Facebook ad and if they fill out the lead form, you could create it so that that's the trigger to start them on a smart plan. We can't do that yet, but that's coming. So we can't change this trigger manually at all. Phil, just holler if you come back. I'm not really paying attention to see if you're back. So to create a smart plan, let's do an email because that's going to be the most common thing used. So all you have to do is click on send email and it brings it over to the left. So my reply to email, again, we checked that in our settings first. You want to make sure that's right or you're not going to receive any replies. The subject, just make it the subject of your email. So if you were making an open house follow-up plan, you're probably going to put the address of the home. And then your email, so hi, and then you can use this function. So you can put contact first name. So every person that you put on this smart plan, the email is going to say, hi, Brenda, hi, Mike, hi, Marianne, whoever it's going to. And then you would just type out whatever it is you want to say to them. Then probably set a delay, and then you can choose however many days this is. Then maybe you're gonna want to call them after 9 days. So you give the task a name. So you can say 123 Test Street follow-up call. And then task description. You could put a script in here. So if you have a script that you want to follow when you're calling all of these people, you could put your script in there so you don't forget. Brenda, do you have a question? I can hear you talking, but not really. Okay, I don't think so. So then we're going to set another delay. So obviously we don't want to touch them too often or they're not going to enjoy that. Then maybe we're going to do a text. So a text is the exact same thing as an email. You just type it out. Obviously there's no subject because there's no subject in a text, but so, hey, contact first name. It's Aaron from the open house at 123 Test Street. Blah, 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 blah. Wondering if you had any questions about it, if you wanted a follow-up appointment, if you wanted to see any other properties, whatever it is you're going to say.
Aaron, what's static dynamic?
I don't know. Dynamic. Add more text messages to cycle through your repeating smart plans to avoid repeating messages to your clients. Oh, so if you... So you can choose different texts, so not everybody gets the same one. So if you're gonna like repeat this, so essentially you could make up to 6 texts that are essentially saying the same thing, but not the exact same wording, so that your client doesn't get this exact same text from you over and over, because then it looks automated and doesn't look like you actually wrote it.
Makes sense, yeah.
Yeah. Most of the time, you're just going to use static, just the one text that goes out. But yeah, that's really all that it is to creating a smart plan. At this point, once we can create them for other things than people, so like your actual workflows, they'll be a little bit more complicated because you'll be like reminder to create a Facebook ad and all those types of things. But yeah, it's pretty simple. As long as you know what you're trying to say to these people, it's pretty simple to create. You can also use it to send like a mass email. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a whole bunch of steps. So like, for example, when I texted you about Glenn McQueenie, that was just a 1-step text. It was just the easiest way for me to send it out once without having to type it out or copy and paste it 1,000 times.
How did you do that, Aaron?
Okay, I'm just not going to save this one. So you would press save. I will save it. Actually, I'll finish this. And then you can click the little people up here. So that this is why tags are super important in your contacts. So you can, if you have a group of people that all have the same tag, you can just choose those people. So like I have a tag called guinea pig. They're my agents that I test things out with. So if I wanted to select all of them, I can easily add those 6 people. But if it was an open house, you could tag your people that you met at the open house as open house 123 Test Street or whatever. So let's go back. So Phil, I did go over the Glenn McQueenie text. You probably just weren't back yet.
If you've already done it, don't worry about it.
Okay. And I told them next week I'm doing the Twilio training. So it's in depth on how to get set up for texting. So it's super simple to add the text step into the smart plan. Just being able to send a text is a full hour training in itself. So they know how to add a text to the plan. You just click the button and then type out what you want the text to say. But we'll go through next week how to get the Twilio account set up so that you can send a text. But yeah, so if you just want a simple one-off email or text, you just give it whatever name you want there. And then just choose choose one email, subject line, whatever you want it to say. Type out your email and save. So it doesn't have to be super complicated. It's an easy way to send out a mass email. So if you wanted to touch all of your contacts right now saying, hey, just wanted to check in, see how you're doing through quarantine, make sure you don't need anything, whatever, you could do that by sending a one-off email.
Okay, so just let me run this by, see if I've got this. When you're clicking the F for first name, and you hit first name, where in there do you find the tags so you can get everybody? Or do you go up to the plus?
Oh, you're not. So this is just kind of building the content of the, so in this case, we're writing an email. So this is building the email, what you want the email to say.
Okay, so everybody's name goes in individually, but you have to go up to that person with the plus to get the tag names.
Yeah, so this is, the plus up here is you're choosing which of your contacts receive this smart plan.
Okay.
So in this case, just the one email.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Phil, did you want to take over now?
If you want to finish up smart plans, I can jump in for opportunities. How does that work?
I think I'm pretty much done smart plans unless anybody has questions. It's extremely simple at this point. There's not too many options.
No, all good.
Okay.
All right.
Do you want to share your screen back over to mine?
Oh yeah, sorry. There, I stopped. So now if you press share screen, it should take over. Perfect.
Okay. Hey guys, sorry about that earlier. Erin, thank you so much for jumping in.
No worries.
Okay, so Erin just went over smart plans, but further to what she was just saying, in 2 weeks from today, Erin's going to be doing a full hour training just on Twilio. So if you're curious as to how you can set up your, text messaging and things like that, that's one that you're really going to want to get in on. And this Friday, we have a guest host, Janice Ching from our brokerage is going to come in, and she's going to show us how to create a virtual tour for free. So some really, really interesting and fun stuff coming up. So from here on out, I'm going to do opportunities. And if anybody has any questions along the way, please feel free to interrupt me and go in. So opportunities is found here on the left. And when you come in, you have your listings, your buyers, and then down below you have your leases, which I primarily ignore, and I assume most of you would as well. So I'm just going to go through some general stuff on how to create an opportunity and how to move it along through your funnel. And like I said, feel free to pop in. So the first thing is when you come in here, this is kind of your opportunities dashboard. So it shows your listings and the various stages that you have people in. And then it has your buyers with the various stages that you have them in as well. Then over here, it shows you your potential income and your probable income. So your potential income is kind of just adding up all of your opportunities, but your probable income factors into the chances of those opportunities actually converting. So as you move people through your funnel, this gap should close. Now, I'm much better at, when I get a selling lead, converting it, because buyers, I just have more of them. So that's why you see a smaller gap between my GCI on probable and potential for listings versus probable and potential for buyers. Along the top here, so this is your dashboard, but sometimes you just want to get a kind of a more overview of some of your opportunities. So when you click in here on the all top opportunities button, you'll see that it starts to come all the way down through and you start to see all of them. So, you know, I've been doing this for over a year now, so I have a number of closed opportunities in here, of course. And then at the bottom of this page, and as I move over to the next page, is where you would see kind of my active opportunities, if they're buyers and listings and stuff like that. The volume that they're purchasing in, what I believe the commission will be. And then over here on the far side here is your tags. I'll get into that in a little bit more later. So, you know, really what I like to see about this is it just gives me some, you know, very quickly it gives me some information. So I talked about this when I taught opportunities last month, but I'll talk about it again. When I look at this buyers here, I see this massive gap between probable and potential. And I want to close that gap. Well, the reason why that gap is so wide right now is because I only have 2 buyers under contract, but I have 13 buyers over here in kind of my cultivating appointment stage before I get them on BDBAs. So what I would want to do is if I just click in here, I can start to see who I have kind of in my funnel back at the top part of my funnel in the early stage of buying or selling. Now, what's great in here is you'll notice that I have stages for buyers. I have 5 stages. I have cultivating, appointment, active, under contract, and closed. And then under each of those stages, I have multiple stages again. So under appointment stage, I have scheduling the appointment's been scheduled, and was the appointment kept. You'll also notice here there's a percentage amount that comes across. And that's just, at what percent do you think that, and these are a little bit arbitrary numbers, but it's really at what percentage of these buyers are going to actually end up transacting with you. So the further you move them along your funnel, the higher this percentage should go up as they get closer and closer to buying. So if you wanted to edit your stages, you see this button up here, just click Edit Stages. When I first started and set it up, you know, it's very American based. There's a lot of stuff with like legacy and things like that that doesn't really apply to us. So I just took that stuff right out. But if I wanted to add another stage under the appointments, you know, I have scheduling as scheduled kept, and you know, I would just click Add here. Signed BDBA. And once they get a signed BDBA, I'm going to say they're 50% less likely to transact. And so now that there is set in. The other great thing is you can add checklists for each stage of the opportunity. So things that you need to be doing. I'm going to go back and show you that here in a little bit. Now I'm going to take out BDBA signed because I know that when I go back, I have that. That's when they become active clients of mine. So you'll see here, if I click on this stage of it, I have now they've signed their BDBA. They got the 40% chance of transacting. Once we get out and start searching for a house, they go to 50%. And if you ever want to move buyers along, so for example, if I want to move my cousin Tom along, I simply just click him here and I drag him over. And if I go back to my home screen now, that number, my probable number, has now gone up because this opportunity here at $7,500 is now 50% likely to transact, as opposed to a moment ago when it was only 40%. If I move it over again, that's going to go up also. Now, I'm going to go back and I'm just going to go to my sellers or my listings because I have more set up in here. But when you get into here, so I'm going to click on appointment and let's just see, I click on Jessica here. Oh, sorry. So again, I just want to edit stages again, but you'll see here, now I've got checklist items that are coming along. So for example, when I get a new listing lead and they're in the appointment stage, I'm scheduling that appointment. Well, what are the things that I need to do for that opportunity? Well, first of all, I need to schedule the appointment. I need to do a research their property in the neighborhood. I want to create a comparative market analysis. And I'm going to pre-write the SDBA and WWR to take that with me to the meeting. So these are all things here. And as I check them, oh, sorry, I can't check it because I'm not. So that's how you can add checklists to your opportunities in the various stages that they're in. Does anybody have any questions about that? No? Okay. So before I show you how to create an opportunity, I just want to show everybody how to create a tag, because tags are very, very important. So what you want to do here is you go up to the right, you go to settings. You come over here to command settings, and then down over here under opportunities, contacts, you do custom tags. So you click custom tags, and then you have custom tags for contacts, and you have custom tags for opportunities. So I've created quite a few custom tags for contacts. You know, these are all kind of just in there on their own. But if I showed you the rest of the ones here, are they living in Nova Scotia? Is it a Sphere lead, current client, past client, hockey referral? Do they come from Goresbrook, core advocate? Do they come from my postcards? Andrew Perkins, when I first got in the business, I did a lot of work with him. He sent me a lot of business. And these are just Morris Marketing. They're the ones who get my newsletter every month. Then over here for opportunities, a lot of the similar tags as well. But this is just going to allow me to really break down my funnel later if I want to see where all my business is coming from. So very important that you go back to go into this field and add custom tags that are specific to you, your business, your clients, and your opportunities. I can't stress the custom tags enough. So back over here, I want to create an opportunity. So click create an opportunity. Automatically it populates as a listing opportunity, but if I wanted to switch that to a buyer, I would just switch that there, but this is going to be a listing opportunity. And the client name is going to be, today is going to be my fiance, Sina. And so now the opportunity name is Sina Rasmussen listing. And here I want to custom tag it. Well, she is, we're not married yet, so I'm not going to call her family, but I will say that she's a sphere of influence lead. She wants to list it here right away. I anticipate about a 3-month closing, so I'm going to put that out 3 months to August 11th. And I'm going to sell the house for $375,000, and she's going to pay 2.5% commission.
You added an extra 0 there.
Oh, wow. No, our house was 3.75. So 375. Now, the opportunity phase, this is a brand new opportunity that I just got. So I'm going to leave it in the cultivate stage for now, and I'm going to create it. The opportunity, I know the address already because I live there. So that all populates there. So now I have the address saved as well. If you want to come in and start to update your appointment dates and and those things, that's very helpful actually, because that starts to create a time frame. So when you go back at the end of your year or 2 years from now and you want to look at your opportunities, it's going to show you how long it takes you on average to push a new opportunity right through to the end where it's putting money in your bank account. So this may not seem like valuable information right here when you're just first putting it in, but like any CRM program, the more information you give it now, the better information it's going to give you back later.
Bill, I have a question.
Yep.
When you're filling in that address, if it were a buyer, you're cultivating a buyer
Mm-hmm.
who already had a specific address they were buying, when you fill in that address, are you filling in the address of the buyer or of the property they're going to buy?
Great question. So my contacts already have their addresses in there. So I keep their current address specific to the contact. I only put a property address in here when I know what property they're going to transact on. So as a seller, that's easy. You can put that in right away. But I don't touch this here field until we have a signed BD, or sorry, until we have an accepted offer.
So if it was a buyer and they had a specific property, like I just had one and I tried to do the opportunity, they already knew what they were putting an offer on. But I wasn't sure when I came to the property address, whether I was putting in the address of the buyer or the address of what he was buying.
Yeah, so great question, Marianne. Right now we're in opportunities. So this here is the address that they're going to transact on.
Okay.
If I go back to Sina Rasmussen in my contacts, her address is going to, well, it's going to be the same address because she's a list, this is a selling opportunity. But yeah, so you have an address as the contact and an address as the opportunity, two different addresses. Does that make sense?
So in that property, if you knew the property they were buying, it was a buyer, you would put that in there, not their address.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
I would put the buyer's. I would put the transaction address, the one that they're going to buy here.
Okay.
So if you know that right out of the get-go, absolutely put that in. I just don't fill that out until I.
So you know, for sure.
And then, but it's really easy, Marianne. Like, let's just say they bought it and then it falls through on inspection. It's absolutely nothing to take it out and then put in. You know, I know 83 Candy Mountain Road is for sale. It just came on the market.
Okay.
And then, you know, I put that in there and now that's populated. And there's little edit buttons up above if you want to come in and start to put in. So, you know, I'm thinking this is going to be a 3 months transaction. The appointment is scheduled for tomorrow. Or sorry, I scheduled it for today. I scheduled the appointment today for tomorrow. And then once I get her on an SDBA, the agreement is one, contract date, close date, and you just fill those things out as you go along. And you'll start to see now I'm starting to get some dates here. What's really interesting now is if you guys remember, before I go back to my homepage, my listing opportunities were somewhere around $57,000. Now, by adding this here, you'll see it's now gone up to $67,000 because it's almost a $400,000 home at 2.5% commission. So that's why the potential's gone up, but the probable hasn't really moved the needle a lot because she's all the way back here in cultivating stage. So I come back here and I've got Sina Rasmussen. Okay, you know what? This lead is starting to get, and I only have her, you'll notice that in that stage there, sorry. You'll see that I have her there at just 5%. That's a really, really early lead. I want to move her over. Actually, so now I've actually scheduled the appointment and I'm going to be seeing her tomorrow. So I'm going to take her out of the cultivation stage. I don't know why it keeps doing that. And I'm going to actually drag her up and put her into the appointment stage because I've got an appointment scheduled with her for tomorrow. I now put her in the scheduled appointment and now you'll see she's at 10%. After I've now met with her, let's just let this load up here. Well, while that's loading up, you'll also see here that I have the five check marks show up. So that's where I want to go in and make sure that I am doing all the check marks. Now, Aaron was able to get us a checklist that that people are using for their opportunities So as tasks, so if you want that, just send me an email and I'll get that for you. But now tomorrow, I've scheduled the appointment and you know what? It went so well. She signed an SDBA. We're going to list the property. So now I have that at a 50% transaction rate. If I go back to my home screen now in opportunities, you're going to now see that the 67,000 has stayed the same because that's potential. But the probable income now has come up to 39,000. So that's a really valuable tool for me because I know that for my business to be successful, I have to always be moving people through this funnel. I have to be taking them from the cultivation stage all the way back in through appointment, active, and so forth. And I want to see that probable income number. That's the number I want to see increase. This here number, that's the pie in the sky. But this is the number that's kind of real dollars that I'm likely going to get. So for me, this is very, very valuable. And I said this last month, and I haven't done a whole lot of work with it since, but it shows me that I've got some work to do over here. I've got 7 buyers that I don't have on BDBAs. I really want to jump this probable income up. So for me, I would just click on my buyer. If I needed something to do today, well, guess what? I need to call Ryan. I need to call Alini and Amari. I need to call Caitlin, Reza, Jersey, and Sarah. And I need to see where those buyers are and see if I can get out and meet with them and get them on a BDBA so I can move them into active and just get them start closer to transacting. I love opportunities. I've used, I've been in real estate now for 5 years, but I've been in sales for over 10, and I've always used CRM programs. And I just find that this information can be so valuable. And again, the more information you feed it, the more information it'll give back to you at a later date. So that's really how you create an opportunity. And then this is how you, in here, this is where you create that funnel. And that funnel can be specific to your business. So if you don't really need a cultivate phase, or you want to call this something different, call it whatever works for you. But just make sure you're being true to yourself, and you're not, saying that just because you have someone on a BDBA, that's an 80% chance that there's going to be money in your pocket. Whatever whatever your conversion rates are. You'll also note that I don't update this enough. So I have my average time in here 70 days, 73 days that these buyers or these listers sit in these here. So I need to be moving these funnels along quicker. They're going stagnant, or I'm just not updating them. But that's kind of it. When you, over here, there's list view and board view. So if you just want to see it in a different way, it breaks them down. Just click list view and you can kind of scroll through them that way. And board view brings them back here. And again, going into editing stages, and just click over here, edit them, the probability and the BDBA sign. And then if you want to add a checklist item to each of those stages, click in here and you can add checklist. Does anybody have any questions?
I just wanted to add something.
Yeah, go for it.
I know I say this all the time. I sound like a broken record, but a lot of people will say, well, I'm not going to bother to input an opportunity until I have an active listing or an active buyer, just because I don't want to do the extra work at the beginning. And that's fine. You can do whatever you want. But this system is like, Command is being built to help you with your businesses. So the more information that you give Command, so if you use it properly and put them in the cultivate stage and then move them to the appointment stage, then move them to active, it's learning you and learning how you do your business. How long do they stay in that cultivate stage before you can get an appointment? How long after the appointment until they go active? So if you're not giving Command the information, it's not going to be able to turn around and help you with your business as good as it could have.
And to that, Aaron, the same thing we say, whether we're teaching smart plans, opportunities, contacts, Twilio designs, you can't break it. So,
Exactly.
you can delete stuff, you can add stuff, you can move people along, you can change it. I really encourage everybody to just, get your contacts in and get your opportunities running, because as Aaron said, this is your business. And, contacts is a great way to really, really hone in on your business. I know that's not why we're here today, but the more information you give it, the better. So I know right away, I can start to go through, if I wanted to, I can refine this search filter button right here. And, I thought I got a lot of business from hockey. But you know what? Once I did all of this here, I certainly get business from hockey, but I don't get as much as I thought I did. So for example, if I just scroll through the tags that I've created, custom tags, sorry, and click on hockey, for example, so there's my contacts through hockey. I can do the same filter for opportunities, but again, it's just important information because it just shows you where your business is coming from. And once you know where your business is coming from, it just allows you to pivot or focus on areas of weakness or just really maximize areas of strengths. Any questions here?
Phil,
Yeah.
it's Chris Bray. Just a quick question. If your seller is also buying, you just create two different opportunities, right? One is a listing and one is a buyer?
Absolutely. So,
Okay.
and in fact, Chris, I have that. So I have Jessica Salmon right now. I'm going to be listing her place next month.
Yeah.
And actually, you know what? I just got her signed on an SDBA. So she's over here as a listing, and we're going to be selling her house in around, $225,000.
Yeah.
That's the commission I have there for her there. And then if you come back out to opportunities, I also have her in as a buyer because once she sells, she's been pre-approved to buy over, in that 400,000 range.
Yeah.
And so I've got her down here again. And I think actually she's in Cultivate. Yeah, she's way back here in Cultivate. But there I have her at $8,700 for that transaction because there she's going to be buying something in that 350 to 400 range.
Okay.
But yes, two opportunities because it is two different opportunities, even though it's the same person.
Awesome.
And also, I do the same thing for. I've got one investor right now who plans to buy two. He's already bought one property this year. He plans to buy a second one in the fall. So when I was doing this in January, I created two opportunities for him.
Okay. So you can have the same buyer in there a couple of times because they are buying different, or it's same with seller, I guess, if they're selling multiple.
You could, as Erin may know this better than I do, but she probably does. But you can have as many opportunities for one contact that you see necessary. As far as there's no limit that I know of.
No.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. The only thing I do want to mention, because we did figure this out, if you're using tasks in the opportunities and you decide to move somebody from Cultivate all the way up to under contract, and then, but within each of these stages, you have, 3 or 4 sub stages and 5 tasks for each of those tasks will just be bypassed. So you have to be careful that, if you are using this very, very closely to kind of keep yourself in track for things you need to be doing, make sure that, so here, for example, you'll see that I have 3 tasks here in this phase. If I just take Phil Eman now and throw him up to under contract, all the tasks that I had at the various stages, they're just going to get bypassed. You're not going to get up to under contract and then there's going to be suddenly like 0 for 25 for tasks. So just be careful of that. Any questions?
When you say be careful of that, you mean you have to take them through each stage? You can't bypass those stages?
No, I'm saying that you can bypass those stages, but
yes.
if you have tasks set to each specific stage and you go from stage 1 to stage 4 in one jump, it's not going to show you all the tasks that you bypassed along the way. Do you know what I mean? You only get the tasks that are specific to the stage that you currently have them in.
Okay. So, but it's okay to skip those tasks. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah, of
you did them
course.
and didn't record them and then just moved them to the next stage. It's okay.
Yeah. Like, for example, so I have 3 tasks set up. So under scheduled, what are we? We're in listings right now. So under scheduled, this stage here, my tasks are write the CMA, present to CMA, and follow up on the CMA. Okay. And just so you guys know, I'm not very good at that. My tasks are not set up in here properly. But, you know, over here in this stage, I have 5 tasks, okay? And those tasks are schedule the appointment, create the CMA, and write an SDBA and WWR. What I'm saying is if I just take this here lead or opportunity and just completely jump over the scheduled, those tasks don't follow with this opportunity. So I've got to make sure that if I skip those tasks that I go back and complete them, but which you obviously would if you're getting an SDBA signed and things like that.
Okay.
But, yeah. So that's really all for opportunities. I really encourage everybody to use it as much as you possibly can. And again, you can't break it. The more you play around with it, the easier it becomes, the more you familiarize yourself with it, and the more it familiarizes itself with you. And I need to be better at using opportunities. You know, it's from the moment you meet somebody, putting them in under that cultivation phase, and then you can add them to the smart plans, what Aaron was doing earlier, to really kind of harvest them and nurture them. So all that stuff is kind of being done automatically. That's about it. Any questions?
I have a question that's maybe not quite related to this. When you have in your task to do a CMA, is there a way to do a CMA through command, or do we go back to like a cloud CMA?
I don't think there's a way to do a CMA in command. I don't think it's there.
No.
We go cloud CMA. And Ali did a really good job on how to create a CMA in Paragon about last month. You'll find that, Aaron, on the YouTube channel.
Yep.
And I really recommend checking that out because I thought I knew everything there is to know about creating a CMA in Paragon. And Ali really showed some cool, interesting tips on that. So definitely recommend checking out the Keller Williams Select Realty YouTube channel and tracking down Ali's presentation last month for using Paragon to create a CMA, because she showed some really, really cool tips that I had no idea that were available to us. And to that, I recommend all of the training, this video, you know, they're all on that YouTube channel. And I do recommend just playing, you know, if you have some spare time, scrolling through it and checking it out. Aaron sent through a package last week, I think, Aaron, that shows, you know, how to get to the Weebly page and also the YouTube channel with all that information there.
Yeah, and I also just want to point out, Phil mentioned that we got our hands on sample checklists for in the opportunities. That's on Weebly as well. So I posted the link in the chat of this training.
Yeah, so that's really helpful too, because they've already provided all the checklists. So you just really need to come in here into your opportunities, go to the various stages and go, okay, what do I actually have to do at this stage? You know, for listings, you know, it's just remembering to, and everyone, remembering to get that referral, remembering to get that testimonial, you know, remembering to send maybe the agent a thank you card or a bottle of wine. All of those tasks can go in here just so you're really just, you know, keeping up on your business. But that template that Aaron has linked to is a really good template to start from, to give you kind of the overview of tasks. And then if there's anything specific that you like to do in your business, just add them.
So I have a quick question.
Yep.
It's Janice, sorry. So I just set up the bi-weekly neighborhood as we were going through some of this, and this was early on in your section, Aaron. So I did the bi-weekly neighborhood. I added 5 people as a test to it, and only 2 of them are in under contacts now, even though I just updated all the contacts. So when I go into smart plans and people plans, and then have my bi-weekly neighborhood set up for the duration of 15 days, there's only 2 people in the contacts when there should be 5. What did I do wrong?
Aaron?
Were you searching like a tag? Is that why?
I originally did that, but then it wouldn't work. So then I just searched their names and added them that way.
But I wasn't finding them even when you searched their name.
It was, yeah. So I found them and added
Oh,
them.
okay.
But now only 2 out of the 5 are added.
Oh, so you originally added 5, but now there's only 2 left. Is that what
Yeah,
you're saying?
3 of them never actually were added. Only 2 of them were added. In the
Do they
under
have
the smart
email
plan.
addresses in their contact?
Yeah, they have email addresses, phone numbers, birth dates, tags, physical addresses. All of that is in their contact info.
I don't know. We might have to Zoom just one-on-one and see if we can find something.
Okay, yeah, because these are some of the people that I'm using, like you, for guinea pigs.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that will be good. Okay, maybe
Yeah.
we'll try to do that later.
Okay.
Thank you.
Question. Okay. Well, that's really all I have, guys. I can't thank you enough for logging on this morning. If you have any questions afterwards when you're playing around, feel free to call, text, or email me anytime. If I can't answer it, I will get an answer for you. And again, I really encourage you to check out the Weebly page, the YouTube page, and check back on Friday. Like I said, we have Janice coming in to do a guest presentation on how to create a free virtual tour, which is, we think, is a really good thing for right now, where you have to do virtual tours, but sometimes money's a little tight. So Janice is doing that, and then 2 weeks from now, as I mentioned, Aaron's going to do smart plans again, but with a strong Twilio emphasis, which I think is going to be really, really exciting when we learn to just imagine being able to send out a mass text to all of your clients just to say Merry Christmas, or check out this new open house or this new listing. So continue to come back. We really appreciate all of your support.
Thank you, Phil. Thank you,
Thank
Erin.
you, Phil. Thank you, Erin.
Thanks, guys.
You're welcome. Have a great day.
Thanks, you too.
Two.
Bye.